This is page 313. The title of this page is Using Multiplication to Solve Equations. When an equation contains division, solve by multiplying both sides of the equation by the same number. What's interesting here is that this is exactly the opposite of what we learned on the previous page, which actually should make it real simple. The last sentence said when an equation contains multiplication, solve by dividing. This one says when an equation contains division, solve by multiplying. So we can kind of draw a conclusion. It's a conclusion we could have drawn back in lesson 11.2. If it's an addition equation, we solve by subtracting. If it's a subtraction equation, we can solve by adding. If it's a multiplication equation, we solve by dividing. And what we're about to look at are division equations that we're going to solve by multiplying. The property is called the multiplication property of equality. You can multiply both sides of an equation by the same number and the two sides will remain equal. So example 2 reads, solve each equation and then graph the solution on a number line. The equation is x over 5 is equal to 10. And I need more space than that, so I'm going to start over. X over 5 is equal to 10. So my first question is what kind of operation is this? This right here means division, so we have to know that this is a division operation. And how do we solve? We solve by multiplying. And so what are we going to multiply? Do you remember from previous pages that we always multiply the number that goes with the variable? And the number that goes with the variable is 5, so we're going to multiply by 5. And this side of the equation is not so much important. What matters is that you get this side. So for example, if you do 10 times 5, what do you get? You get 50. And so I think x is equal to 50. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just ignore this just for a minute. I'll come back to it in a minute. And I'm going to take x out and I'm going to change it to 50. And is this true? Is 50 over 5 equal to 10? It is. So what I'm going to do here is I think this is a little bit of a mess. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to erase everything. And then we think the answer is 50, right? So let's check our answer by taking x out and putting a 50 here. And is 50 over 5 equal to 10? It is, because 50 over 5 means 50 divided by 5. 50 divided by 5 is 10, so x is equal to 50. So we plot that on the graph. We think x is 50. Now I do want to explain one thing to you that's just a tiny bit tricky. So I'm going to go back to A and pretend I'm starting over. X over 5 equals 10. We decided right off the bat that this is a division equation, and we solve division equations by multiplying by 5, and that's how I got 50. Now what happens when I multiply by 5 over here? Well, 5 is kind of the same as 5 over 1, and if I do 5 over 1, I get 5x over 1 times 5 is 5, and 5 over 5 would cancel. So, and then what's left is just 1x, which is the same thing as x. That's why x is equal to 50. So we don't totally have to understand that right here. When I solve this, here's how I think you'll see how your algebra teachers will teach this to you. And here's how I solve it. X divided by 5 is equal to 10. I am going to multiply by 5, and 5 over 5 cancels, so all that's left is x. And don't forget to multiply by 5 over here too. So I have multiplied 5 on each side of the equation. These 5 cancel. What I have left is x. This 10 times 5 is equal to 50. So yet again, the answer is 50. We knew that. We checked our answer a couple times. Let's try the next one. We're on B. B is 15 is equal to r divided by 2. What kind of operation is this? It's division. How do we solve division problems? We multiply. We're going to multiply by 15. No, we're going to multiply by 2. The reason why we multiply by 2 is because we always multiply the number that goes with the variable. And in this case, the number that goes with the variable is 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2. And this 2 and this 2 cancels. So all that's left is r is equal to. And over here I multiply by 2 and I get 30. 15 times 2 is 30. And that should make sense because if I took r out, I would have 30. And the original problem was r, which I now think is 30, divided by 2. Is 30 divided by 2 equal to 15? We know that it is. 30 over 2 means divided by 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Sweet. Let's check out the your turn. The your turn is solve the equation y over 9 equals 1, and then graph the solution on a number line. Y over 9 is equal to 1. What kind of problem is this? It is a division problem. How do I solve a division problem? I solve a division problem by multiplying by 9. I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 9. 9 over 9 cancels. What I have left is y. Y is equal to 1 times 9. 1 times 9 is 9. I think the answer is 9. That should make perfect sense because if I took y out and put 9 there, what is 9 over 9? 9 over 9 means 9 divided by 9. Therefore, y is equal to 9. And that gets graphed on the number line. Y is equal to 9. Cool. You are done with page 313. Great job.